And our last reading for today is chapter 61, Crenshaw Returns. Remember, Crenshaw is one of the pirates that Black Stash sent into the jungles. So let's see what he has to say when he returns. Black Stash held up a hand, silently stopping Smee and the others, and signaled them off the jungle path. Stash, too, stepped aside, concealing himself amid the enormous leaves of a plant. The sounds of someone running drew closer. A native? Stash crouched and laid his sword across the path. When the runner was upon him, Stash lifted the sword a few inches, and the runner, with a cry of pain, sprawled face first onto the ground. "Crenshaw," said Stash, stepping out. "Cap'n," said Crenshaw, out of breath. He hurried painfully to his feet. "Well, man," said Stash, "what is it?" Crenshaw attempted to answer. "I seen—" "That lizard," said Smee, interrupting. "Be quiet, Smee," said Stash. "Crenshaw." "The longboat, Cap'n," said Crenshaw, still gasping for breath. "The longboat," said Stash, bewildered. "Our longboat?" By his recollection, it should have been well down the island. "Yes, sir, I seen it just now." "Where?" "It was flying, Cap'n." "It was what?" "Flying, Cap'n. Up in the air like a bird, but it weren't no bird. It was the longboat, sure as I'm standing here." The other pirates gathered around now, muttering about this strange and unlucky island where things kept flying that were not supposed to fly. "Belay that talk," said Stash. "Crenshaw, where did you see this flying longboat?" "Up this path where you sent me. It leads to a beach, a lagoon, sir. I'd just gotten there when I sees the longboat pass right in front of the moon, plain as anything, and there was men in it." More muttering from the crew. "I said belay it," said Stash. To Crenshaw he said, "How many men? What men?" "Two, I reckon. One of 'em big as fright, he was. Right across the moon they flied. Fast as a bird they was, but it weren't no bird. It was a flying—" "Yes, a longboat," said Stash, eyeing Crenshaw curiously. "And where exactly did this longboat go?" "Can't say's for certain, Cap'n. There was trees and such in me way. It went from this ways to that," he said, indicating right to left. "Went past the moon and headed down." "Down?" "Yes, Cap'n, down. I reckon toward the water." "What about the trunk, the treasure?" "Didn't see nothin' of the sort, just the flying longboat. We went past, and I turned high tail to run back to tell you, and then you tripped me up, and then you asked me what I seen, and then I know this part, you idjit." "Yes, sir." Stash reviewed the situation. The trunk could not be far off. That was for certain. When things started flying that should not be flying, the trunk had to be near. But who were these two men, and what were they doing in his longboat? "All right, men," said Stash. "We double-time down this lagoon. Crenshaw, you lead the way and show us where you seen this flying longboat. Move!" Trotting with a pronounced limp, Crenshaw headed back down the path, followed by Stash, and somewhat more reluctantly, Smee and the others. In a few minutes the path widened. Patches of low fog shone in the moonlight, like tiny puffs of gray cotton. Crenshaw had left out mention of the swirling fog. Stash smelled the lagoon before he saw it, like a fresh rainfall. From far to his left came the trickling sound of water, a stream, a waterfall that fed the lagoon. Then above the sounds of the water he heard distinctly human sounds, grunting, shouting, splashing, the crack of a whip, familiar sounds to a pirate. Fighting. The path led to a small sand dune. Stash stopped his men short. By the sound of it, the fight was raging in the water just on the other side. "No reason to join a fight until you know what side you're on." Another crack of the whip, then a scream. A woman's scream. His men stopped, all eyes on Stash. "Here's what we do," he whispered. "Whoever's out there, we let them kill each other off. Then, when they're done and the fighting stops, we'll take care of whoever's left. Get your weapons ready." He was thinking. Flying boats and fighting? The treasure's at the heart of this. Then, drawing a sword, Stash began to creep up the side of the dune.